Welcome to Herf Zone Live. I'm here every Tuesday to bring you the best content weekly. Be sure to subscribe on YouTube, search for Team Shirtless Mike, and follow on Facebook at Shirtless Mike. You can reach out to me on Instagram at Shirtless Mike 2020. See what goes on in my life, and hopefully I can see what goes on in yours. Herf Zone Live is expanding. Get your product in front of hundreds of viewers every single week. Let me advertise your cigar or product to my audience. DM me, let's exchange information, and get you a part of the Team Shirtless Mike team. What is going on, everybody? So, I want to thank you guys for tuning in once again. If you are already down there down below, leave me some comments here, share the show, take a moment, because we got a really good show lined up tonight. See the numbers keep going up, so I'm going to see some shout outs going as we're getting started here and all that good stuff. So tonight I am smoking something special because tonight's a special show. I'm smoking the Fuente Rare Pink right here, which we got some at the shop. We're trying to keep it local, so don't be bombarding me with, we don't really sell online or nothing. And, if you're a local person, come see us. There's rules and regulations and stipulations because we got to get that out there. So, yeah. So what's going on, Adam Machado? How you doing, brother? All right. So enough with the small talk because we all know I suck at small talk. From the Hustler Universe Podcast Network Green Room, where you'll find a Cigar Hustlers podcast and the Chet and Palmer Shit Show. Welcome to Herf Zone Live, Mr. Bradley Reith. What's going on, brother?
What's going on, man? How you doing?
Doing well, man. It's a beautiful night. It's down in the 70s right now,
Yeah,
Florida,
yeah.
75 degrees. So
Y'all got that
still,
wet heat down in Florida, man. We got the oven heat up here. So in Phoenix, so it's 70, and is it still humid outside or what?
yeah, it's a little humid, but it rained tonight, but it's like 75. So
Okay,
by
okay.
Thursday, it's gonna get a little cooler. So,
Right on, right on.
but yeah, how was your day today, brother?
Oh, it was a crappy day, dude. Absolute crappy day. Yeah, well, it was real. I mean, it's just part of life, man. Like I'd rather be honest about it
Yeah,
than like come on and be like an actor and be like, "Hey guys, how you doing? Good to see you." I mean, it's a crappy
yeah.
day, dude. Everybody has crappy days, but I mean, dude, at 48 years old, if I had a couple crappy days in my life, I don't know. I mean, I'm just not living at that point. So I mean, it makes you appreciate the really, really good days better. So
Oh
I
yeah,
got
of
a dog, I
course.
got a dog who I love, and I'm gonna have to put it down. I just know that's what's coming. So
Oh
things
man,
like that make days crappy. So and it's our family dog, that kind of stuff.
oh man,
That's
that's
why
that's
that's
definitely
primarily
rough.
why it started out my day crazy and everything like that. So we'll see, we'll
That's
see. But yeah,
definitely
dude,
rough, brother. Prayers go out to you and your family in this,
thanks, man.
time that's what's to come. But we got some folks watching, so we're just gonna start off with start off in the interview, get to know Brad Reith. We all know him from YouTube and all that, and this, I'm assuming that's your YouTube background right there. For the so
Yeah,
it's
I'm in our
like,
studio. Yeah, I'm
yeah,
in our studio. I have no idea how this thing worked out. It's not through our regular studio camera, and JB is like literally a master wizard at computer everything. So I'm like, hook up the main camera so it looks good. And he's like, I can't get it to work. And so he did some. I don't even know what camera I'm looking at. There's one there, and there. So I think it's this one. So I think it's this. Yeah, it's this one right here. This one. That's it.
yeah. That's cool. So yeah, so everybody knows you from Zeal Cigars. Let's get to know the real Brad Reith. So,
Oh,
so
let's go.
originally you're
Let's
a
go.
Midwest boy,
I am Cincinnati,
and
Ohio, dude. Born and
yes.
raised.
So tell us about your childhood, what it was like growing up, you know, in your
My childhood.
era of things. What did you like to do? All that good stuff. The people
My
want to know.
childhood. Okay, my childhood. I am the son of Lynn and Vida. My parents have weird names. Leonard. My mom's the only Vida I've ever met outside of Vida Blue. Who used to play for the Toronto Blue Jays. Um, so yeah, I grew up in Cincinnati and west side of Cincinnati. Moved to the east side of Cincinnati, and yeah, grew up. I have two sisters. I'm the oldest of three, and yeah, a typical kid growing up. I was a bad kid, man. I was not a good kid. I was bad. I was a really bad kid. So just FYI. So I think people know this part of my story. Like I was a rotten kid so bad. Like at one point they were thinking about some kind of like I went through counselors like crazy. Like 7th, 8th grade, I was the worst kid in the entire world. I remember like I was so bad, dude. I remember like this is back in like we're talking like the 80s, right? We're talking like in the 80s. So like I'm an
Yeah.
old cat. So I would roll I'd steal a pack of cigarettes from my old man. I'd roll it up in my sleeves, and I'd smoke one on the way home from school, and I would walk through people's yards just to piss them off. And these ladies one time were sitting in their backyard, and I was walking through their yard like slopping in the mud and stuff like that. And they looked at me and they were like, "Look at that bad kid. That kid's a bad kid." And I like flicked them off, and I was like, "Yeah, you know I am." And like that was the first time I remember thinking to myself, like, sorry, I moved the screen. That was the first time I remember thinking to myself, like, that's messed up, dude. Like these guys were just chilling out, and like I walked through there. That was the first time I became very aware of my fallen nature, if you would.
Yeah.
But praise God, man. At the ripe age of 15 years old, I got to know a man named Jesus Christ, changed my life, and I was a pastor 20 years after that, and then I got in the cigar industry after that. So that's my story in a nutshell, if you would. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna
people
get a
know
little
about
bit
me at least.
deeper and all that from there. So you got saved at around 15, you just
Yep,
said,
yep.
and so just take us through that. What made you decide to, after getting saved, I'm sure there was some time
Getting
in
saved,
between
dude.
that. What made you want to become a pastor in the first place?
You got that Baptist thing in you. Get you saved, bro. I feel like I'm in an old church revival. I like it. Um, the what made me want to become a pastor? I think when I was younger, I mean, I came to Christ when I was young. So I remember going to youth group for the first time, and they were like, we're going to have a sword drill. And so, like, I have no context of church. And so I'm like, what is this? I'm like, we need to play with swords? This is freaking cool. And they said, John 3:16, go. I'm like, who's John? I got 7:30. What are we talking about here? I didn't know. So I didn't even know chapter and verse, dude. So, like, when I say I was not churched, I was not churched. So, uh, I don't know, man. I think the youth ministry had such an impact on my life, and like the guys in the church there had such an impact on my life. I wanted to impact young people for the rest of my life. And I kind of, I mean, even now today, it's weird because all the guys that work for me are younger. All the guys that are in my social circles are younger guys. They're guys my age. They're, and just maybe a few years older. But I've always liked, I always appreciated youth and young people and stuff like that. I'm excited about their ideas and what they want to do and stuff like that. So I felt the call to ministry, when I was really young and wanted to serve God the rest of my life. And I still feel like I am here in a different way, if
Yeah.
you would. But yeah, that's how I felt called to ministry. This is going, dude. Get it
Yeah.
together, dude. No one's
Yeah,
asked me
most
these questions
definitely.
before. Like you're the first person to get me on this, so go ahead.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, I try to be different, if you know
You're
some
good. That
things, you know what I'm
that's you
saying?
got me, dude.
I
I was
provide
you
all
didn't tell me anything.
opportunities.
Hey, nothing here is staged, dude. He didn't tell me anything is gonna
I
take
don't
me
I
down
don't
this
tell
road.
anybody anything. This
Okay.
is me just,
This is good.
going out there. So,
Let
uh
me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. What do you think people think about that? That's what I because somebody asked me the other day, like it's a weird question. They were like, "You're really outspoken about your faith, like in the cigar industry in particular. What do you think the cigar industry thinks about that?" I'm like, "I don't know. I don't really care." But they were like, I was like, I never really asked anybody. So what do you think that? What do you think about that?
surprisingly, there's a lot of people that I've encountered where, they may not be out there preaching or whatever, but like I interviewed Rojo Corojo last week, and she came up in church, and she met her husband in church, and
Okay.
so I mean, there's a difference. Even though I'm not really currently in church, I still maintain, of good faith in the Lord and all that. So,
Well,
you
sure,
know,
sure. And
it's just cool to get to know other people. Like
yeah,
it's like where's Waldo? Like, in the cigar industry, a lot of people believe in God. It's not just, a bunch of degenerates, hanging around. So a lot of us are too, but
yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, what's up, Michael? Good to see you, dude. I yeah, I never thought about that. I don't really think about what people think about me necessarily or what I believe or anything else like that. I'm just unashamed of what I believe, and
yeah,
so and I don't believe in cowering away from questions. So And I got a little bit of a bone to pick, when it comes to that kind of stuff, because there's people that, well, when someone hears you're a Christian, they put you in a box, and
Yeah.
they essentially tell you, well, or they had a bad experience, and so they 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 lump you in with a bad experience, something like that. So I want to change all that, man. I really do. I want to bless people. And dude, we had a podcast today. It's Cut Light and Smoke podcast. If you guys are interested, and I asked JB a question, dude. He started like getting emotional about it, dude. It was crazy. So, and like that stuff happens all the time around here, and it's not like I'm pushing buttons to do that. Just so
Yeah.
you understand that. It just
I mean,
happens.
it's just a product of being real.
I think so, dude. I don't know if it's maybe you're right, dude. I don't know what's going on, but it's a crazy time. I think people are done with BS, and like I don't think people want to stay on the surface very much longer with conversation and everything else. We want to get down into like, hey, I'm doing life. How are you doing life? What's working for you?
Yeah.
Things like that that matter. So, and I think cigars are a cool conduit of that, and that's why I'm in it. I'm in
I
it
mean,
for the.
that's how
I'm
I
in it.
initially started smoking cigars with people from church, and it's a good
Right.
way to sit down. You're slowed down, to have a conversation, even if somebody does not agree with your point of view. It's a way, like, I mean, the world needs to go back to sitting down solving the world's problems over cigars like back in the day. Like,
Absolutely,
man,
dude. 100%. Yeah.
instead of fighting and going back and forth on Twitter, just sit down like a man and smoke a cigar.
Right, dude. I think that's a more conversation and more problems can be solved over a cigar. And I've always said this, and I more than what cigars are, I really like what they can do. I
Yeah.
like that you can have a great conversation around them and really get an opportunity to get to know somebody and get to know where they're coming from and everything else like that. So I enjoy that a lot. I just really do. And by the way, today I'm smoking a test blend that might make Zeal Cigars cut. We don't know. It's a triple Lajero, and it is strong. And I'm not used to this kind of kick. Just so you know, my mouth's a little bit dirty.
Hopefully you got
And
some water there, brother.
I did. I got some G Fuel, which is weird. So I've never drank G Fuel and smoked a cigar. It doesn't really go together, but
Yeah. I mean, there's
either way.
all kinds of different pairings out there that,
Right.
are cool and,
Orange
and all that.
citrus
I
would go
just
the
like
hell.
to, I pretty much, I smoke so much all day long at work, and I'm always running around. We got like a 5,000 square foot shop, so I'm always running around one end of the shop to the other. So I
Okay.
got to drink a lot of water, otherwise I feel like I'm gonna die. So,
Sure, dude. Sure. Absolutely. Absolutely.
but yeah. So how did you go from being a pastor? We talked. We're just going through the whole life timeline here. Being a pastor to getting into the cigar industry full time. Like, how did you make that jump?
When I went to a cigar shop, it was like my normal cigar shop, and my normal guy was gone. Like everyone has their shop they go to, and their guy there they see, right? And so
Yeah.
he was gone, and I was like, "Where'd he go?" And there's a girl there, and she goes, "We fired him." And I was like, "Oh man, that guy was a good dude." And she's like, "No, he wasn't." And I was like, "Well, you should hire me because I know cigars." And she stopped and she stopped. She's like, "Are you serious?" And I was like, "Yeah." And so I had a buddy with me, and he actually ended up start working with the cigar shop before I did, and then asked me, said, hey, "You should probably come do this." And after that, the owner came to me and said, "Would you be interested in running the whole shebang?" And I said, "Sure." Yeah, and so that's what got me into it. So just literally asking, offering my time, and then you know, showing that I knew how to sell stuff. I mean, I knew how to sell stuff. I mean, I think
Yeah.
that's just an innate thing. But I've always smoked cigars since I was probably about back in I don't know how long it was, like 2001. That's when I started, 2000, something like that. Started smoking cigars, and I'd say I wasn't a regular smoker, like once or twice a month. And then as the years progressed, started smoking more per the week, if you would. And I started like a lot of guys on acid and flavored cigars, and then got into real cigars, if you would, or what people think are real. I think those are real cigars, but I'd say my palate kind of matured past that, and it's vacillated ever since. Like it goes, like this is a very very strong cigar. This is a little strong for me. Um, this reminds me of a Pastawane, or Pat, is that what it was called? The Pastawane? Power Straight. What's it? How do you say it?
Pastania?
Is it no? Is it Pastania? Is that how you say it? The
Yeah.
big P and the arrow down. That one.
That's Mike
Pastania.
Step on Cabbage. He's actually one of the sponsors of my
Yeah, yeah,
show.
yeah. This reminds me of that cigar. It's and that was a really really strong cigar too. Like this is up there with that. So for me it's not really my deal, but I'm testing it for the shop. But it's not my
Nice.
kind of deal, but it's strong.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, people first kind of knew, you because of TNT cigars and everything, and
Yeah.
you and Tim from Cigars Daily, you started that and
Yeah.
all that. Like, how did that all come about? And I hope there was, I don't know any backstories. Hopefully, everything is good and kosher because I don't start drama. But like, just give people the breakdown because we got, um, Michael Panisi, just asking a little bit about that or whatever. So we're just moving
Is
to
he
the
over?
timeline of things here. So
Oh, okay, okay. I actually answered this question on the podcast, the Cut Light Smoke podcast today, because people asked me, "Do I miss Tim?" And so Tim and I aren't friends anymore, and that's just kind of how things turned out. We haven't talked in about 3 years, you know, um, and why that is, I think, stays between him and I, because
yeah,
we're men
I
and
mean,
we're
it's
gentlemen. That's
I'm
the
not
way
trying
that's
to pull out
business.
anything
No, I know,
crazy,
dude. I'm just answering, as
Yeah,
best I possibly can. And I got no ill will towards Tim or anybody like that. So, uh, but yeah, it was a fun time. I think we had some real cool magic between two of us, when we did
yeah,
it, and it was awesome. It was really really great, and we each played roles, if you would, in that cigar review, and um, I think we both moved on to different roles. Now we're both running our own businesses and everything, so it's very different. But I think how it came about, a buddy of ours came in and said, "You guys should put this on display for the rest of the world," because we were planning on doing something like that and YouTube or something like that, and we did, and neither of us thought it would work. It did, and it just kind of grew from there, dude. It grew from there. I'm not a drama guy, so
yeah.
I'll
Me
never I'll
neither.
never yeah I'll never throw that out there for anybody else. So and but I get the question almost every time I'm on an interview. So
But I
it's
mean,
not
it's part of cigar, history, like
history.
in the internet
Yeah.
cigar community.
Well, we were the
So
first. We were the first to break 100,000. Yeah, we were in that. We were the first to break 50. I think, as far as like in that short a time we were together. I mean, it
yeah,
was probably like 2 years. We were 50,000.
yeah,
Subscribers. So, and it was. And I think what we did that I think continues today in our own spectrums and our own rights, um, both with him and with I, is we created an onboarding for the rest of the world to have a voice in the cigar community, where it was formerly guys that wore ties and suits and everything else like that were doing cigar reviews and everything else like that. And I just didn't like that. I was like, that's not who I am. I'm never going to wear a tie and suit when I smoke a cigar, unless in, at a funeral or a wedding or something like that, which I have.
yeah.
But on the reg, I wear a hoodie or a t-shirt and a hat backwards like you. So that's my attire. So I wanted guys to feel more comfortable with that, and that's kind of why we did what we did. And it seems like the community really liked it.
Oh yeah,
Before YouTube started pressing down, cigar channels and everything else like that, nobody gets play like it was back then.
oh
If it
yeah,
if it all started out again, we would never have the amount of subscribers or anything else. It continues to press down and stuff like that. It's hard. It's difficult now.
yeah. Most definitely. And hold that thought because we're gonna kind of continue on from there. I'm gonna take a quick break and shout out our sponsor. We'll be right back here. All right, so Herf Zone Live is sponsored by Nomos Cigars, rated 91 in Cigars and Spirits magazine. Nomos is a full-bodied 6x56 cigar that features a rich, full flavor accomplished with our high-quality construction and exclusive aging process. Once the fine cigar is born, it immediately begins our exclusive Nomos Aging Process nap. While each cigar naps, it continues to develop its unique aroma and flavor that sets itself apart from any other cigar the world over. It is a delicious medium smoke resulting from the finely aged Cameroon wrapper and blend of an 8-year-old seco Dominican filler and 5-year-old Nicaragua criollo filler. The Indonesian Sumatran binder finishes the cigar ingredients with the finest quality tobacco available. This exclusive blend provides a beautiful smoke right down to the last nub. Check out nomoscigars.com for info on where to find retailers that carry Nomos Cigars. Orders also available on their website. Also follow them on Instagram at Nomos Cigars. Alrighty. Welcome back, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, so you know, fast forward things, we addressed the one thing, and then also fast forward a little bit now. You got Zeal Cigars, you open that. Tell us about how that came about to what it is today, and then
So I
we'll
had
go into YouTube and everything.
so I had a an investor come and try to snatch us up, and it was a great opportunity. Originally that's how we were going to start, and eventually, you know, my dad is a great man. I really appreciate him, and he's just like, you don't like working for people, man. You like to be your own boss, and you will not be beholden to anybody else. And I know that because I've worked with my parents before in different ventures and different things like that. And they're just like, you need to do your own thing. You don't like being, under somebody else's authority. And it's not that I can't be. It's just that I need to have my opinion incredibly, have hold a lot of weight to what directions of business and everything else like that. So I can be management, but I just can't. I don't just want to be a guy who stacks boxes and stuff like that. Um, so they proposed, what if we did this as a family, made it a family business? And I said, okay, that sounds great. So we did that instead, and that's how we were born. And we built this whole thing out. Zeal Cigars, if you see it if you come in here from the street, essentially what happens is there's about 1,500 square feet out front, but behind it, and where I am, where the podcast studio is, the video studio, and our offices and everything else back here is about 1,500 square feet behind it, if you would. So, which is a big warehouse. It's got 30-foot ceilings and everything else like that. So it's pretty big back here. It's deceptively small up front because our lounge is really small, and then our two humidors are fairly small, if you would. But they have a lot of cigars in them. So one of the things
Yeah,
that we get feedback for is our cigars are stacked to the ceiling.
yeah.
So it's kind
It's
of
not
fun.
about how big a humidor is, because our shop, we got a big humidor and we're running out of room. It's about how it's put in there in
Right.
order to make it work. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
because there could always be better ways of putting cigars on shelves. Like, I played Jenga every single day. Like, we got, a sampler, and I had to try to put them together with, it was like Diesel Cigars. So it was like that Diesel sampler, the one with all the
Little
odd
Reith.
shapes or whatever. I forgot
Yeah,
the
yeah,
name of
yeah.
it. But I had one open with a sign that says, see staff member to buy a complete set, not an individual sale, blah, blah, blah. And so I was playing Jenga and all that, but like, we're running out of room like very quickly. Like, so
Sure,
like,
sure.
if you got the right setup, it always, it always works and everything. So, and then you start, YouTube's giving you, a hassle, because just like you did with the other situation, you got the YouTube channel where you make entertaining videos, use it
Hmm.
to review cigars, talk about whatever cigar related, and all that. But uh, sorry,
It's all
this is
right.
live. There's no
Well, we
anyway.
had
So where are you guys at now as far as like subscribers? I know you've had to redo it.
we had two channels. So when I left TNT, the original channel was still up there, and they ran for about a year and they closed down. And I offered to buy the channel, the old channel that was our old stuff. And when they finally went under, I bought it off the old owner, if you would. So that was our backup channel essentially. So Zeal Cigars had started their own channel um, on YouTube, and we just kept getting flack and flack and flack from YouTube because they would change your community guidelines continually. They would
Yeah,
say you can't say this, you can't do this, you can't do that. So technically, you can't link on YouTube back to a cigar shop online. You can't link to any place that sells tobacco. You can't link, and you can't say, "I'm here to sell tobacco. Come to my store. Here's the address." All that kind of stuff. So it has to be a peer review. Well, if you go back through all of our videos since we started, those regulations weren't there. And it's not like they grandfather those videos in, they want you to take them down altogether. So, but they won't tell you that. They'll just give you community strike after community strike after community strike. And so as a result, after so many community strikes, they took down the Zeal Cigar channel. So, but I still had the old TNT channel that I renamed Best
Yeah.
Cigar Reviews. So if you go on Best Cigar Reviews now, that's all Zeal Cigars. But so much of that work and everything else was gone. Like for like 3 years was gone. And YouTube just gave us a big fat finger and said, sorry, too bad, you violated the community term. So it wasn't like we go back and re-edit those videos. They gave us an opportunity. They just said, that's it, you're done. And they really don't care about anything ATF. They don't care about alcohol, tobacco, or firearms. They would wish that nothing be on there of any of that stuff. And what they really are investing in are babies. They're super investing in child entertainment. And I mean, just so you guys know, the biggest YouTube channels are for kids.
Yeah.
They're not for adults. And so I would wish that somebody comes out with a platform that's free and as big as YouTube, because all the other platforms aren't free. I don't care if it's HowTube or Rumble or anybody else. It's free, but you have to actually end up paying for space later on, right? Because YouTube owns Google, so they got all the space already, so they can do whatever they want. But that's the problem that we're having right now. So we're super limited in what we can say. And every single time I edit a video, we do all the shooting, I do all the editing, and every time I edit a video, I'm literally watching what I say, and I have to edit out if I say like, "Hey, this is our cigar," or this and this that, and here's our website, or I have to absolutely edit that out. I'm so strict on it now that where's that? Oh, I don't have it with me. The CAO BX3 that came out, new BX3. On the back of it, on the cigar label, it has the QR code.
Yeah.
I probably said, if you want to click on this QR code, you can go to their website and find it. I had to take that out of the video because I was afraid I mentioned the cigar website. So as a result, it's going to be taken off.
Yeah.
So any cigar website that sells cigars and it's linked on YouTube, they're coming for you, 100%.
Yeah.
They just took us out because they know we're one of the more influential ones.
Yeah,
So.
I've had to, I was kind of worried for myself because I don't really make regular videos anymore, so that's kind of like a plus for me or whatever.
Yeah.
And I don't really put too many links like that. I just do what I do. But I've noticed, like, even Kevin Shahan was saying that the like live streams or whatever, they've pretty much been leaving that alone. That's why I just do my show like on YouTube and Facebook, and it's been fine. I may not be the biggest channel out there, but people definitely know,
Sure.
it's growing, but it's all organic. So, just like you guys and everything. But, I started focusing on YouTube at a time because I've had my channel, but not really posted anything. So I think it was like since like 2011, I just used to like leave comments and all that. So like I came in at the time where a shitty time basically, so I just pretty much focused on the show, and I've been blessed that I have not had anything against me. Knock on wood, there's wood right here. But it's been crazy, man. Like it's
a weird day, man, where people are super, it's, without getting overtly political, when you're triggered by everything out there, you got to ask yourself. I mean, nobody wants to be around eggshell people. I mean, if you feel like you're walking on eggshells around everybody or somebody, you're talking to them, or they correct you and they're like in what you're supposed to call them or something like that. I mean, that's just weird. It just is. I know that like the younger generation is more accepting than that. I'm not, dude. I think it's stupid. I'm just not. It's really dumb to like be super offended by everything. So like you shouldn't have to watch what you say every 5 seconds around somebody. I mean, within reason, I'm talking about. But like when you have to now be afraid of what you say. Like you have to think through realistically when you make a video. Am I going to say anything that triggers the YouTube algorithm to push me down? And just having cigars anywhere in your video or in the title, the algorithm takes you to the bottom immediately. Alcohol, same thing. Alcohol and firearms or boom or anything like that, same thing. So I thought about doing a video where I was we were smoking cigars in the desert. We were shooting ARs in the desert, and we were going to drink whiskey and pair the cigars afterwards. I thought that's suicide because they'll use all of it and be like, that's it, we're out of here. So I mean, I just it's a crazy. I think eventually anything that's regulated by the government will eventually be taken off YouTube completely. I just do.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. So, but what have you been? I guess I have a question for you. Do you educate yourself on anything? Like, is there stuff that you like read outside of cigars, or like do you have interest outside of cigars? Right?
Yeah. Not a whole lot, but
He's like, "That's my life."
I try to be, know a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and if I don't know something, I usually, will learn a few things here and there. So
So I do a lot of sociological experimenting, and watch a lot of that, like what's going on with like generations and everything like that, what young people are learning. I have a lot of young people in my life, plus I have teenagers at home that tell
yeah,
me things like crazy. I just ask them like, what are some things that you're learning? What are some things that's going on right now? And tell me some things that are popular in your culture and everything else like that. So uh, I'm learning a lot, dude. A lot. Like it's crazy. I feel really old when I learn this stuff. I feel super outdated, and but I think knowing it is very helpful to relating it, to people eventually, where they go, why is my why does my teenager think this way, or why does my young adult think this way? Particularly for young men who come in our lounge continually,
yeah,
who feel like they're just beat up from the world, And I'm like, dude, that's crazy. Sit down and have a cigar and tell me about it, which
yeah,
is kind of cool. That's one of my favorite things to do is, guys are just, trying to make it in life, and dude, life just gets them, knocks them around and stuff like that. So it's kind of crazy. It really
yeah.
is.
The
That's
cigar
my
shop is a safe place where you can talk about whatever. You can ask the most dumbest whatever question in the world. You might get your balls busted, but it
yeah. I would say it's safe, but it's how would you say it? It's a good place. I don't know if it's a
yeah,
safe space. Like I think I think as any man, it's dangerous to tell people what you think, and you
yeah,
have to be ready for that reaction as a man.
yeah,
So if you say something that is not copacetic to the culture that you're in, you have to be ready as a man to respond to whatever grief you get or acceptance you get from whatever you say.
yeah,
So if you say something like that and somebody disagrees with you, you better be willing to back up what you say. And so like I think that's one of the things that because I've been in plenty of cigar lounges where the conversation is not safe whatsoever, dude.
yeah.
It's like a
Well, I mean that, and we're not gonna talk that way amongst people that we don't know like that. It's
oh
people
yeah,
that we've
yeah,
known for years. That's
yeah,
what I
dude.
mean. Like
Yeah.
to other people, it won't be safe,
Mhm. Well,
but
I think that's why
to
the
others it will.
I think it's why cigar lounges have a little bit of a clickiness thing to them sometimes. You come in, the same people are there the whole time. It's like a clique of guys that stand there the whole time or smoke there the whole time. And sometimes guys come in, they're like, "Man, I'm trying to fit in somewhere. I'm trying to get in somewhere." And, some of those guys seem a little closed down and, versus like just going in as a man, like it's a big deal, dude. Go in there and be like, "Hey, man, what's going on, guys? What are you smoking?" And if those guys shoot you down, dude, you got to be willing to like take it and,
Yep.
kind of
Some
say,
people are
"What?"
just quiet. Like I've learned
Yeah,
from
yeah,
working at
yeah,
a
yeah.
shop, some people just don't have a personality. Like I'm full of personality. There's even a guy who comes to the shop and he knows outside of working at the shop I'm a cigar personality. He'd be like, "Hey, Mr. Personality, how are you doing today?" And at first I didn't know how to take this guy, but then I got to know him a little bit, and he's pretty cool. Like once you just got to know that he's just gonna say whatever, and that's just how it is, and
Hmm.
he means well at all times. That's why he says, "Oh, are your personality today?"
That's funny, dude. That's funny.
But the craziest thing I got asked, this was probably like weeks ago now, but I was sitting around, got orders done at the shop and stuff. So a couple people that are friends of mine that I've known for a while, they start asking the question, "Would you suck a D for $1 million?" And I'm
That's a
like,
that's a
"Bro,"
that's a big question, dude.
I'm
That's a
like,
that's
"Nah,
a
not for $1 million."
that's a crazy question. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
but
a
it's
weird.
crazy. Like there's people around that were saying, "Yeah, they would," and I'm like, "Nah, not for $1 million." Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
that's a that's a crazy question, dude. Uh, yeah, I probably would never do that. Yeah,
yeah,
that's what I'm ever gonna do. But I think it's but that's guys busting each other's balls and what have you and stuff like that. So I think that's why I say I think it's a good place. It's a good place to even like test who you are as a guy, and so on and so forth when you come in and you're among men usually when you get in
yeah,
there. And so guys that have, I mean, cigars are a luxury, so they're not necessarily a necessity. So when you go in there, these are guys that are off work and they're sitting down smoking a cigar and they're enjoying their environment. So if you're coming into their place of peace and enjoyment and they start, throwing you jabs here and there with some comments, you gotta be willing to take it and be able to
yeah,
give it. So
yeah.
that's
Well,
why I
I'm
say
throwing a roast for my birthday in February. My
I heard
birthday is on
about
the
that, dude.
22nd, and
What'd you say?
I said I'm throwing a roast for my birthday bash in February.
I
My
heard that.
boss already let me have the date that I wanted and all that. So it's like 3 days after my actual birthday. And so
Yeah.
one of the guys who was asking that question that I was just talking about, I told him, I said, I'm not gonna bust your balls until then. So I've been really nice to this guy the entire time. Like,
Yeah.
but
So
he's
people are
gonna be
coming to
one of
your
the people
shop to roast
roasting
you.
me, huh?
So people are coming to your shop to roast you.
Yeah, for my birthday. Yeah, I'm throwing a major. I'm a public personality, so I'm gonna shut the city down. I'm gonna have everybody from every single shop. They're gonna be at my shop because like in Brevard County, it's a large area, but it's kind of like small town in a way. So it's like everybody in the cigar world knows each other. So if I'm throwing something, my name rings bells. Like it's gonna be packed in there.
That would be fun, dude. That sounds
But
like it'd
I
be really
told him, I
fun.
said, I'm gonna be nice to you until the roast, and then afterwards, I'm gonna unleash holy hell, and I'm gonna really go in.
Yeah, dude. So they're roasting you or you're roasting them.
Well, they're roasting me, but then at the
And then you
end,
get a
everybody
chance.
that roasted
Okay.
me, I'm gonna just go in on them. That's gonna
Okay.
be part of the
Okay.
fun.
Okay.
And
Can
I
you handle
told,
that? Are you good about taking jokes about yourself?
oh yeah,
Okay.
doesn't
All right.
bother me. I
Okay.
wanted something different.
Okay.
I
Okay.
participated in an actual roast before, and I was told that I had to, you know, kind of tone it down. But I was like, and then I was like, you know who I am? I'm shirtless Mike. Like, and they're not gonna ban me for going crazy. I didn't even go that crazy. I could have gone a lot harder, but
You got banned from a shop for going nuts.
no, I said they're not going to
Oh, they're not
because
going to ban you. Okay.
I was like, you know how much money I bring to the cigar community in Brevard County. I was like, trust me, like they're not gonna. But I still didn't go as hard as I could have. And actually, Mike Bellady was one of the people. It was at Boston Jimmy's 60th birthday bash,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and so Mike Bellady was one of. And I don't know if you know Mike Bellady from MLB Cigar Ventures. But
Mm-hmm.
that guy is like ruthless. He goes to the underground cigar shop. I don't even know if he's in the industry. I haven't talked to him in a while, but
Okay.
like he's ruthless when it comes to roasting. So, uh, yeah, that was a lot of fun, and he was kind of mad that I let loose because he could have went a lot harder. But I was like, I'm a little cocky with it. I'm like, who I am. I'm shirtless Mike. They're not gonna ban me for going hard. But this is
Okay.
my environment that in February. So I already told my boss. I said, Pete, there's gonna be no limits. We're gonna have fun with it.
All right, man. Good for you, dude. Good for you. That sounds like a fun. You gotta have a sense of humor about yourself. You're gonna make it in life, anyways.
Oh
And
yeah,
I think that's the roasts are real popular. I've seen them on Comedy Central and things like that. And some are brutal. Some are brutal. So it'll be. Tell me how it goes, dude. I'm be curious how it goes. They should get that on video.
oh
Yeah.
yeah. I'll try to get some, but people's like, oh, you should live stream it or whatever. But
Uh-huh.
I'll have to see what I can do. But yeah, we're coming up
Well,
on 40 minutes here, so
yeah.
we're gonna talk a little bit more. But then I know you said you got about 45
Yeah.
minutes.
I got to bounce at 5:15.
Okay,
My
so
time. My time. My time. Yeah.
okay, so 5 minutes. All right, so now you got Know It All JB. You got your podcast and everything. I
Uh huh.
really like you guys' chemistry. You guys really feed well off of each other, whether it be on video or on the podcast.
Yeah.
Me being a guest and all that. So, um, tell us a little bit about your podcast before you go. Those who haven't
So
listened, I've listened to a little bit. Like, what can the people expect?
Well, first off, it's called the Cut Light and Smoke Podcast. It streams on all the platforms, so just ask Alexa or look it up on Apple. Most people listen on Apple and Spotify. So yeah, people have been asking us to do this for years, and we should do a podcast. We do a podcast, and eventually we'll bring video to it. We're trying to figure those things out right now, primarily because we have another business we're starting as well that it's not cigar related, but we'll use the same equipment and everything else for. Yeah, the podcast is great. It's about cigars, masculinity, and culture. That's the thing. So it's uncensored, so we can say whatever we want. Not hosted on YouTube or anything else like that. So I like that a lot. The conversation around there, like we're doing something tomorrow on guys in porn, is going to be a big one tomorrow that we're going into. We're talking about the Kinsey experiments. I don't know if you know the history about Alfred Kinsey, and what that played into.
I'm gonna have to look that up. I'll be up till 3 a.m. looking that up tonight, just so you know.
It's crazy. I'll shoot you a video that'll blow your mind, man. Just how it influenced American culture and what happened as a result of it. So we're talking about that a little bit. We talk about things that are important to guys. We make no qualms. We're not trying to isolate the girls or anything like that, but inadvertently might feel that way because cigars are typically 98% guys, and that kind of thing, and a lot of what I do is coaching and training young men, and how to be prepared for life, marriage, things like that. Stuff I'm just carrying over from ministry, if you would. And then a lot of it gets into what we do here at Zeal, what we do in life, how we relate to our wives, how we relate to other people in our lives, things that we have to just get accomplished as men. There's some really good podcasts out there that I think could be a lot better, if they could include some of these things. And we smoke a cigar usually every time we do it. So we talk about what we're smoking, and then we go on to the topic of the day. And it could be anything from, like, we just had Brandon Luna in from Macau Cigars, and we talked about Halloween, haunted houses, aliens, things like that, paranormal experiences. That was kind of fun. So we do some fun things as well. And but mostly it's just a carryover of a lot of our discussions that we have. And somehow, I don't know how this happened, but probably because I probably mentioned Jesus at least once a podcast, just somehow, some way or something like that. It comes back to it. Or JB will ask me a question like, "Hey, this reverts to something you were talking about the other day about your faith and something like that." I'm like, "Yeah, okay," and I'll answer that. But we were like trending number 2 on the Christian chart. It was weird. Podcast. It was weird. So,
nice.
But it's been going pretty well. But I think it feels a lot like it's meeting a need for me to talk more about things I care about outside cigars.
Yeah.
So I'm greatly concerned about the state of masculinity today. I really am. Marriage in general, young men in general. I'm greatly concerned about that culture. I'm raising a son in that culture, so my son was on the podcast. That was pretty fun. Getting his insights into different things like that. That was kind of cool. So we have lots of guests on men's fitness. We had a guy in here, number 1 trainer in Arizona. So a lot of connections I got in that world. I bring in to kind of like subsidize the conversation, if you would. So most of the time it's JB and I, and then we have a guest at least once or twice a week, and we try to do it every day. But we usually probably get about 3 a week, if you would.
Nice.
So, 3 a week. So, but just little things that we're learning, or we feel like we're that are applicable to talk about over a cigar. There's lots. I mean, that's everything, to be honest with you. So we talk about everything under the sun. So we get heated at each other sometimes. That's been fun. And then it gets really, really hysterical about stuff that we talk about, like stuff that are just goofy, and stuff that I can't believe actually exists, that does exist. And, that's kind of fun, so we talk about that kind of stuff, and it's exciting. And we just talk about what, like I know CAO is coming out with that new vision, Did you see that yet? The Vision 2022.
Nah, I smoked the other Vision.
Did you like it?
It was just okay to me.
Yeah, I liked it. Um, the new one's Nicaraguan, which I think it's about time. Because they try to do Cameroon, which was
Yeah.
okay, and I thought it was pretty good, but uh, it's pretty good for Cameroon. I'm really looking forward to trying the Nicaraguan, so I'm looking forward to trying that, and it's talking about what is it like to build a life, and things like that. What does it look like to do it, as a man in this culture, and keep your masculinity intact. So some people label me as a chauvinist, and some people label me as a complementarian, but I'm definitely not an egalitarian. I'll say that.
Complimentarian, you could take that because that's more accurate in my opinion. But
yeah. That's what I am. I'm a complementarian, but some guys will say that some of the things I say will sound chauvinistic, and I disagree completely. I just think I'm
yeah,
being honorable to my wife and my kids, my daughters, and what have you. But complementarian is when men and women lead together. So
heck
uh,
yeah,
it's a compliment. That's what it is. So, but
absolutely.
it's
Well, I
cool.
appreciate you for coming on the show, brother. I'm trying to be,
Yeah, thank you. I just saw that.
I'm like, I'm gonna let you talk, but I gotta stop this because you
I
told me.
appreciate that, man. I appreciate
So,
that.
all right, brother. Well, everybody, if it's your first time watching, make sure you hit that subscribe button, like button, leave some comments. Go check out Best Cigar Reviews on YouTube, all that good stuff. See and check out his podcast. Brad, you have a good one, brother. I'll talk to you soon. Okay.
Thanks, brother.